Hello everyone, my name is Damien. I'm the clean energy marketer, and today we're going to talk a little bit about grid scale BESS and from the engineering perspective. So here I am with Damien. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you. So I'm Damien Guy. I'm the CEO and founder of Enerflex, which we are a consulting and engineering firm dedicated to BESS, energy storage, and we support our clients, which are most likely developers, all along their project phase from early development to operation and maintenance, including obviously procurement phase, owners engineering during construction, and so on. So full scope of services on all along the phase of the project, but dedicated to energy storage. That's what we do.
Excellent, great to hear. So let's start at the front end of the project lifecycle, looking at the first thing developers eyeing out for land parcels, site assessment. Where do you come into the equation when they're thinking about where to put grid scale BESS for their next project?
You mean how we choose where to put the energy storage project, right?
Yes, and some of the engineering components. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much. It's mostly the job of our clients, which are in charge of finding the right ground and places close to interconnection, and so they deal with landowners and with the transmission system operators or distribution system operators to find an interconnection and a land, and then we support them by finding the right design features, applying for the permits, writing the permit. We can do also the permit application. So basically, we support them to make the best permit application and best development of their project in order to have all the options open once you decide to finance the project, because between the time where you decide where you place your project, the time you apply for your permits, and the time you finance the project, there's going to be like 6, 12, sometimes 2 years, 12 months, 2 years. So our job at the beginning is to make sure that our clients still have all the options open later once they decide to finance the project and select their solutions.
Makes sense. And then when we look at the pre-construction phase and then construction, thinking about EPCs, do you work alongside EPCs or do you actually do some of the design build pieces yourself?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, we don't do the design ourselves. We do preliminary designs, but we don't take the responsibility of the design. It's really the most of the project is as an EPC contractor with a turnkey contract who is taking the responsibility of the final design. And this design will depend on what product they decide to select, what battery, what inverter, what transformer. So we cannot do that for them because they know what product they're going to install. So they do that. But we do preliminary design phases, and that's pretty much where is the boundary is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get further along into BESS commissioning. What does Enerflex's role play into commissioning? And then we'll talk to asset management as well.
Yeah, we during construction and commissioning, we are the technical support of the clients. So we help managing lots of technical questions around, it starts first with the contracting phase. Because very often when you start your project, all the contracting phase is not finalized, so you need to negotiate the last technical terms, appendixes with the EPC contractor and with the aggregator or the market access provider. Then once the project kickstarts, then you need to, there is a first phase where you confirm all the design, final design, lots of document reviews, lots of technical advice with the different stakeholders of the project. And once we approach the real construction phase, where you have equipment on the ground, and obviously we help supporting all the site issues, schedule issues, making sure that we can provide right advices to the clients to face unexpected things. And by nature on a project, there's a lot of unexpected things, and every time there's something unexpected, you need to find quickly the right solution in order to make the schedule optimized. So that's pretty much our job. And during the commissioning phase, so we go on site. We don't go on site every week. We don't need to go on site every week. If we need to, we can, but it doesn't make sense pretty much. We are not building the project ourselves, but we go there we have few milestones during the commissioning, cold commissioning, when nothing is energized, then hot commissioning, when systems start to be energized, and then at the end, once everything is energized and you are working on the performance test at the project, we come there as well. And generally the last phase, we are talking about the grid certification test. Most of the project, especially those with the transmission system operator, the large project, there is quite complex tests to be done with the TSO, with procedure and protocols that are very different from one country to another. So we support also all these phases to make sure all goes smoothly, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. And then once you actually get to breaking the ground and then things are implemented, then comes the, unfortunately over time, degradation of some of these grid scale bests. So what does asset management look like for Enerflex, for its clients?
This question is really something we ask regularly to ourselves. What asset management should look like for us? What service should we offer to our client? And actually, there's no one answer. It depends really on the client's organization first. Some clients, they want to internalize a lot of things, do things themselves with very light support. Others, they want really to delegate many things to us or do a full scope. So, and projects are different also from each other. So we adjust our scope. But pretty much it's mainly, I would say, first phase for all projects, connect our data infrastructure to the site. Because if we don't have visualization to the of what happened on site, if we don't have data connections, if we are blind, we can do nothing. So that's really the first step, which is not so easy sometimes, depend on the project design, depend on the willingness of the EPC contractor to provide the information, but really is the first step. Then once we have all the data, then we set up all the cloud database, all the data structure, and all the dashboard, all the tools we need to do the support. So dashboard, algorithm, we have algorithm that runs and detects short-term issue, long-term issue, anticipate long-term problems. We set up everything because there are some standard blocks, but each project we customize things because design again are all different and evolve all the time. And so with all this setup, obviously we also get the project documentation to understand the overall project design, the goal, to understand how it's going to operate on the markets. So this is what we call the onboarding phase. And once we've done that, then on a day-to-day basis, it's basically doing monthly reports, monthly calls, or bi-monthly, or whatever the frequency, performance tests, generally yearly or twice a year. And that's for the day-to-day operation when all goes well. And for the corrective actions, when there are issues, then our algorithms will detect that there is something wrong, send us some signals, warnings, alarms. Then our experts take over and analyze all these signals to understand what's the impact. Is it a big problem or not? If it has an impact on the revenues or not, that's mostly the most important. And then they define what could be the solution, and they try to think of what could be the solution. Obviously, on paper, when there is something wrong, the EPC contractor, there is an O&M contractor. We are not the O&M contractor. So if all goes well, the O&M contractor detect it very quickly also and take the appropriate actions to solve it. But in parallel, we make sure that we detect it as well, that we make sure that the client is informed, that the solution is well implemented, and we support the EPC contractor. We are not here to managing claim is also part of our job, but it's really the last thing we do. We're here to support, we're here to help, including the O&M contractor, the EPC contractor, or the aggregator. We help them to find solution. We are not here to say you're doing bad job. So yeah, we try to be really proactive and positive in the way we do that. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think that's an important distinction that you mentioned there. When we look at engineering firms and technical consultants, that they are an umbrella layer that supports developers, EPCs, instead of something that gets in the way. You are a supportive layer, you are a technical consultant, you provide your expertise. Looking at a little bit more on the best side, when issues arise, what type of issues are owners and operators seeing when something happens on the asset management side?
You mean technical issues?
Yes.
It's very diverse. It's really diverse. So I can't say like 50% of the time this is this issue. Or,
Yeah.
So but there are I can give you examples. Lots of small things sometimes that are quite easy to fix and but need to be identified quickly. But you can have like wrong fire safety issues triggered. You can have breaker issues, breaker opening. You can have a lot of small things that are easy to fix. There are obviously also HVAC issue, whether it's air cooled or liquid cooled system. This is one of the weak points of the BSS system. When the HVAC is not running, basically the container stops operating, and that's immediate, right? You don't want to run the batteries once the HVAC don't operate well. And there's obviously sales issue or module issue, cell issue. Can be weak cells, just one or few cells, module to be changed.
Yeah.
We could have control issues. Even though control issue generally, I'm not talking about the algorithm, because once the algorithm are tuned during the commissioning, then it runs. There's no reason why it fails. There are some defects in the early months to tune the algorithm, but after 1 year, the algorithm works well. But there could be network issues, lots of network issues, communication issues. That's pretty much things that are quite painful on energy storage, because on a solar plant, if you lose the communication with your plants, the solar panel and the inverter continue to produce, and your meter continue to monitor the energy, and you're still paid. So you can lose the communication on a solar plant, you're still getting paid. If there is a communication issue on an energy storage system, then the system stops operating immediately, right away. So these constraints is really something that brings a lot of new challenges for system operators, trying to add redundancy, procedure, spare parts, detection algorithm on all the control aspects. Not algorithm, but all the IT infrastructure and all the communication chains, whether it's fiber issue, switch issue, router or anything. Yeah, and obviously I forgot one, but every project have inverters, PCS, and that's like on every system PCS can fail, whether it's IGBT issue or there's a lot of components in a PCS, so it can fail as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how does Enerflex really differentiate itself compared to other engineering firms when developers are looking to work with a strategic partner like yourself?
Yeah, our strength is to have both strong and efficient tools. When I say tools, tools and data infrastructure and algorithm and so on, combined with experts, DSS experts, who have many years of experience in battery systems. All the teams have lots of experience in BSS that we all have from our previous experience, but that we also build by doing all our other services. While we support the clients on their project in construction or in development, we learn a lot of things on the product, on the different issues. And we build our expertise all the time, also running our day-to-day services. And again, in parallel, we've set up dedicated tools that are really tuned specifically for energy storage. We don't take tools that have been used for solar or wind to use them for storage. When I created Enerflex, one of the first things I wanted, I said, we will build things from scratch instead of reusing things that have been used in the solar. Because my experience in the past show that reusing things, whether it's tools or procedure or method or skills that have been used for solar and applying them to energy storage, 80% of the time it doesn't work. So yeah, that our strength is really to, again, I would say, to summarize, expertise, experience, the tools, and all that's built from scratch specifically for energy storage.
Makes sense. And if you're able to share, could you give us just a little context of what some of those differentiators might be between what people use as an umbrella for solar and storage and what actually they should just be using solely for storage, for tools, anything like that?
Yeah. Trying to think about things that are not too much confidential. Just the...
Or maybe we could also think about like, what do those tools uncover? That what's the end result? Yeah, we can focus on that.
Yeah, no, good question. First, the way it starts by, if I'm talking about just the tool, right? It starts by getting the data. So getting the data, making the right choice. On the side, there are thousands of data. You cannot store everything at a 1 second timestamp. Doesn't make sense. Too much data. Impossible to manage, too costly. So the first thing is to select really only the one that you're going to use on the short term and on the long term. Then when you select those data, is making sure that you store them in the database with the right timestamps to make sure that you will have all this information available for the long term of the project. Selecting which one you're going to log at 1 second, which one at 1 minute, which one at 10 minutes. All this engineering of database structure is one of the key differentiator, which is totally different from what you find on other technology like solar. And then all the algorithm that runs on that and find out the issues. The core issues from the storage are very different from solar, and so the algorithm are totally different as well. So we build really our algorithm and our logic of detections really ourselves based on our own experience and the dashboards as well. The dashboards, whether it's for our own use or for the use of our clients, you don't visualize the same thing, obviously. So we really try to focus on the main aspects, whether it's on the technical aspect, SOC, voltages, SOH, or on the market side also, because market side it's very important as well to monitor what's happened on the market. Is the battery doing frequency regulation? Is it doing trading? Is it doing capacity? Is it doing sometimes grid support? So yeah, that's all of these things.
Okay, awesome. And just for anyone listening to this, is there anything else you'd like to share that we haven't covered today that would be beneficial for developers to know in the BESS market?
I would say that if it would be an advice that I would tell to developers, which are lots of developers are coming from solar, I would say not underestimate all the technical challenges and interface challenges of energy storage system.
Okay, well, thank you again, Damien from Enerflex. Thank you so much for being on this interview with me. My name is Jacob Yang, the Clean Energy Marketer, and thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks a lot for the invitation, and nice to see you or meet you later.
Appreciate it, thanks.